Hi everybody, it's Jessie again. This is one of those videos about how I lost 100 pounds, and this is part 3. So over the last several months, I managed to lose over 100 pounds. I'm frankly sick of talking about it, but that's okay because I get asked about it all the time. People really want to know how I did it, so I'm sharing my advice and strategies in these videos. And here's part of the answer that nobody wants to hear, which is that sometimes if you're going to lose a significant amount of weight, you're going to be hungry. So that's what I'm talking about today. To start off with, I just want to clarify, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a trainer, I'm just somebody who happened to lose 100 pounds the old-fashioned way, and I'm just telling you what my experience was and how I did it. So in the United States, a lot of us are very lucky that food is so easy and cheap to come by. We have too much of it. However, a lot of it is very low quality, low nutrient, high calorie foods, and we're great at producing too much of those and having too many of those around us. We've also developed this terrible fear of being hungry, as if being hungry or not being full is the worst thing that could happen to us, and I really want to challenge everyone to rethink that. So first, let me define my terms here. When I'm talking about hunger, I'm not talking about starvation, right? So I'm not talking about not getting enough nutrients or energy. Of course, that's bad. That's not what I'm talking about. But when I'm talking about hunger, I'm talking about that feeling that we're all familiar with, right? That feeling of maybe having a little bit of an empty stomach, or the feeling of being dehydrated, or the feeling of being bored and wanting something to eat. That's what I'm talking about. So in my practice of intermittent fasting, where I was pretty much just eating in the middle of the day, a big lunch but not breakfast, and not dinner after dance, and certainly not eating before bed at all, I learned something, that hunger, that having or rather having, an empty stomach isn't the most unpleasant thing in the world. So when I hear people talk about their eating habits, I hear them talk about how they want to avoid hunger at all costs. Like, but aren't you hungry? Well, sure, I could go for a Big Mac, but I'm not going to, because I want to see the results that I want to see. So I heard someone say recently, oh, I need a breakfast that's going to keep me full until lunchtime. And what I would challenge you to think about is, do you really need to feel full all day long, right? I think rather you should be ready for your next meal. And I liked the feeling of not being stuffed throughout a lot of the day. So that's what I'm talking about. Not feeling full all day long. So I always felt full after my lunch, and that was enough for me, and then I'd give myself the rest of the day to digest that. And I really liked that feeling. So I was always energetic, I was always enthusiastic. I never had an upset stomach, which I had quite often before I was worrying about how I was eating. And it was just a system that really worked for me. And at night, if you have an empty stomach and it bothers you, you can have what I would have for myself is herbal teas, or water, or sparkling water, or something like that, and that was sufficient. So here's my message. The next time you're tempted to say, I'm hungry or I'm starving, ask yourself, are you really? And is being stuffed to the point of discomfort, or not being stuffed to the point of discomfort, really something to be so terrified of? So that's that's what I would challenge you to rethink, which is difficult but certainly possible. Best of luck.